reading for you guys. I actually just tried to do one a minute ago, but like the lighting in here was really strange, so I had to come back again. um, yeah, I have been trying to get as much done and accomplished as I possibly can. Very few people are actually able to see my posts. Even my posts on Instagram, they're not getting seen. My feed is not getting seen. I feel like the more I post, it makes it worse, it seems. I don't know. Like, I don't know what's going on. I'm not a big fan of the algorithm right now. It's just trash. But um, as far as I'm concerned, I'm still gonna do these readings and shine my light and do what I need to do, regardless of how many people actually see them. Hopefully, more people will see them in the future. Please share these. I am also doing a thing right now where if you donate and you tag a friend, whoever it is you tag is I will read for them for free. So they'll get a free reading. If it's $60, if you donate 60 or more, um, then to using my PayPal link or Venmo or even Cash App, then I will do a free reading for someone, because right now it's been an uphill climb. I tell everybody right now it's been an uphill climb all month to try to piece together my rent for March. I still don't have it, and any donations would be really appreciated at this time. I'm asking for help, so if you can help, I'd really appreciate it. I have done a whole bunch over on Instagram. So if you don't follow me over on Instagram, definitely go take a look at what I've got over there. Because basically, all at this past week, I've been doing readings. I think there's like 10 live readings that I've recorded over there, and they're all like about an hour long. So there's a lot of information that I'm getting out right now that I think is very valuable. And so definitely check it out. I don't know how many of these I will continue to be able to do. Right now, I have the time to do them, which is trying to do them. So I am going to jump in. Let me check the live comments here. Hang on, the chat. It looks like there's two people. And you can ask me questions, guys, if you want. It's up to you if you want to ask me questions, but I am going to kind of go a little bit slower than I've been going. The energy yesterday was really intense. I feel like it has shifted, and I definitely feel like the mood's shifted, but it's still very intense. And I'm going to be pulling a mix of things, oracle cards. I might even pull some rune stones. So I'm just going to kind of jump in. So I'm just going to see what we got here. I want to pick a life path from my archetypes collection first. Okay, let's see what this is. Huh. I've pulled this before, so many, someone who's watching again, this is the Retriever path, and I'm actually going to pull another one just because, in case, it seems repetitive, just so I have some other information. Okay, pulled the pomegranate, and I want to pull a third. Oh, and I pulled the oak. Okay, so I want to read actually the oak, because this is one that I haven't pulled before previously. And if I get some other things from the other two paths, I will let you know and we can talk about those. The oak path is about having a long-term relationship or partnership. It can be unexpected, where you meet someone that is, a long-term partner. It can be kind of unexpected place that you meet them, or there's like a lot of backstory or interesting history that, like, maybe you were, I don't know, intending to go somewhere on a certain day, or the history of like how you met for the first time is really cool. Yeah, it's a really, to me, the oak tree is very special. To me, the oak tree is all about relationships, and it's about having a firm foundation. It's about deep roots. It's about deep, long-term growth. Um, This can also indicate twin flames and soulmates. People that are on this path, or that you meet when you're on this path, are, I feel like when you meet them on this path, it's going to feel like you've been waiting forever to meet them. It's going to feel like it's been, in the works or in the making for a long time. And it can feel like you waited to be in a relationship, or for some of you, maybe waiting to be with a specific person too. Those of you who have gone through like a dry spell, to me, this can indicate after a long dry spell being in a new relationship. This can also indicate long-term marriages, long-term partners. Doesn't necessarily indicate, always marriage, but just like a lot of growth between two people. Let me know, guys, in the chat if you can hear me. This is very important. My cell phone does this weird thing sometimes. So please let me know if you can hear me. I don't see, no one has said anything yet, but please let me know if you can't. So okay. I just have to check my audio. Okay, so then there's also some other things on this path that I want to talk about. This is like, the oak tree is a very mature tree, It does become choppy. Is that what you're saying? Yeah, my cell phone sometimes does that. It's hard to get like a good, clear audio on my cell phone. Please note that, guys, if you want me to record more videos and do more horoscopes and all that, please donate, because my tablet has officially died. It died yesterday, I think, or maybe even the day before. I can't turn it on. It's, out of memory completely, and I can't record on it at all. I don't have a camera. So I'm recording these on my cell phone using YouTube, but, my audio, of course, is going to be crap. The video quality is also going to be crap. And, I'm only able to really hold the camera for so long, and I'm not able to record my horoscopes because I can't shuffle. I can just pull cards and stuff, but I can't really shuffle that well with just one hand. So, please donate. To get a new tablet would be like $600, but I have to pay my rent. So in order for me to get, thank you. Thank you for saying that. I appreciate that. I actually, just so you know, I reposted or made public the majority of my videos, so you can go back in time to watch the very first video that I did ever, which is so funny. And it's so funny to go back and see like my hair and my makeup back then. But I did that because, I'm very proud of the work that I've done. There are some videos, some more than others, that I'm just really, really proud of, that I feel like had very clear messages or reached a certain audience or touched people in a certain way, or, I'm just proud of holding the light and holding the space for whatever it was that I was talking about those times. So, I'd love to do more, but the whole issue with housing right now, the whole issue with my, not working full time right now, there's a lot of problems and issues around the pandemic, which I'm not going to get into, and me not wanting to participate in the dark agenda. So, but thank you so much for following me for so long and being a very, awesome follower and fan. So I appreciate it a lot. If you missed what I said in the beginning, just so you know, anybody who donates $60 or more and tags somebody over on Instagram is going to, or you can even message in the comments here on YouTube, whoever it is that you want to receive a free reading, I will read for them for free if you donate. So you can either get a reading for yourself, or which would be normal pricing, or you can make a donation of $60 or more, and that will go towards a free reading for somebody of your choice. Let's see, what else? Oh, okay, so the oak path is also about having like a lot of skeletons in the closet. Like it taking a really long time to maybe settle down. Um, and having gone through a lot of different types of relationships. Some of them very, very karmic, relationships, very karmic lessons, very, very challenging. Some of them may be very painful too. Um, Sometimes this is like an older soul, really struggling in the love department. And I was thinking about this yesterday. After I did my live readings, I was like, I was struggling because I was like, the more I read, the more I make it appear that there is no perfect relationship, that people are never going to find love, that it's not worth it when they are in a relationship to continue. And it may seem like that when I'm reading, and because that in some way is an energy that I think when I'm talking about relationships for a lot of people, I'm talking to people who are very stuck, like they can't hear me, like they can't understand that what they're in might be really detrimental to their health, to their growth, to everything, because people, stay in relationships sometimes way longer than they should. So it can maybe appear that I'm sort of one of those people that thinks it's not possible to have a long-term relationship, or it's not possible to have, a healthy partner. I believe that it is very much possible for people to get into a healthy relationship. I hold that very close to me. Like, that's what I want for everybody. I'd like it to be easier for people, but sometimes, people come to me or when I'm reading, it seems like, that I have to be kind of tough love because they're not understanding what I'm saying, So, so there's that. I wanted to address that. I actually believe that if people wanted to get into a healthy relationship, they would. That's the thing. People do what they want to do. But sometimes we stop ourselves, we don't allow ourselves, we self-sabotage ourselves from getting into a healthy relationship because we think it's not possible, or we have a limited belief, or we have issues with self-love, or we have issues with parents, or we have issues with religion that limit us in some way. To me, this is not about waiting anymore for a relationship. To me, this is where a relationship solidifies. To me, the oak path is about a relationship solidifying into something long term. It's not about like waiting any longer. However, people, is it Kathy? Is your name Kathy? It says K Griffiths. I want to be sure that I'm addressing you correctly, because I don't want to just call you Griffiths because it may be like, I don't know if your name is Caitlin or Kathy. Okay, Kathy. Okay. My regular price for a reading is $75 for 30 minutes. It used to be like 75 for like an hour, or 45, but I had to change it. Oh, hi Tan May. Thanks so much for stopping in. Love you, Tan May. Lots of love to you. Where was I? Tan May, you distracted me. By the way, Tan May, I like your beard. I meant to tell you that. You've got a great beard. Yeah, so this is not about waiting any longer for relationships. This is the path where you're no longer waiting. But people tend to not also make any effort. So there's two camps. You may be in one camp. The camp where people are waiting for the perfect Mr. or Mrs. Right, and they don't actually take any action steps. And then other people who are taking action steps, but it seems to be taking a really long time regardless of whatever action steps they take. And then there's also, the third camp, my favorite. Okay, my favorite is where someone's in a long-term marriage for a really long time and they're waiting for their perfect Mr. or Mrs. Right, and it's really endearing. Okay, it's so endearing because my the words that come out of my mouth every time for people like that is that they won't meet someone unless they're out of their current relationship. It's just basic bottom line. You have to get rid of the old to be able to embrace the new. That's just how it is. You have to detach with love from the old, and that's in basic numerology. That's like in basic computer programming. You cannot continue to work on the old computer, to get the new computer. You just have to upgrade. Trade it in for a newer model, something terrible. I mean, it's terrible to say, but no, it's okay, Tammy. I just love the beard. It's the picture with you and the beard. I love it. Kathy says, are you still living in Nebraska? No. Okay, so I just want to give people the background on Nebraska so they understand what happened. A lot of stuff is private. It has been private, and it's only really lately where I've started to talk about it. But I moved to Nebraska, because in 2017 they changed the algorithm. Nobody was seeing my stuff. I had a significant reduction in business and clients, and I had met someone who was from there. And I found a job, I found an apartment, and I left, and I went. And the person that I moved there essentially to see if the relationship would work, he ended up getting married to someone else. And then he ended up dying. And he became my angel. And after he died, and you can see back in my videos, I mean, I talked about this all back in my videos, but again, people don't see that I have 1,100 videos. They don't look through my past videos. I don't know what happens on my channel. Like, part of it is that everybody's on their cell phone, so they only see maybe like the one that shows up first. I don't know. But anyways, all I wanted was to move back to Ellensburg after he passed. And went through like a year of grieving and moved back and, decided to restart the clock. I, have been working in healthcare for like the last 3 years. So once I moved to Omaha in Nebraska, I was working in healthcare, and then continued to work in healthcare, and then moved here and worked in healthcare also. So, the whole pandemic thing obviously did affect me, and I'm trying to figure out what comes next, and I don't really know. But I live in Ellensburg, again, in Washington State. And I actually moved back to like the same complex that I used to live at before I met him. So it's like two buildings away where I used to live. And that was actually purely synchronistic. It was not something that I had originally planned, but I literally came home when I moved back. So that was what happened. If that answers your question, Kathy. Kind of a long answer. I don't see any other questions. Okay, so going back to this oak path, the path is about personal growth and maturity, and maybe having a connection to trees, liking being outside. You or your future partner may be a little bit rough around the edges too. To me, this is like, being, spending time outside. Oh, thank you so much for saying that, Kathy. I appreciate that so much. So for those of you who, I don't know, maybe haven't seen the more recent videos I did, and this is very personal to me, again, about, I think it was like 5 or 6 days ago, I started to see this door filled with light, and which is what everybody sees when they're going to die, when they pass away. And for several days, like, I had stopped eating, and for several days I started to see I kept seeing that door. And like 2 days in a row I saw it, and then it went away, and then it came back, and it's gone now again, but I don't know if it'll come back. And that was kind of part of my reason for coming on, actually, is because there is a good chance, or there is a chance that I could pass away, and I don't want that to happen unless I feel like I've completed the work that I came here for. And although I have done a lot of work on YouTube and read for so many people, I still feel like there's messages that I'm called to talk about, things that I still want to do, and it's important that I do those, regardless of whether, I pass or not. But it's been kind of an interesting thing, you know, with having seen that. I literally was like, okay, I have already my will done, but I was like, okay, I have to be very careful at this time about stuff that happens to me. I have to remain motivated. I have to kind of move very slowly, and I have to be very deliberate in what I'm doing, so that I feel like a connection, I'm feeling very grounded, and a connection to life at this time. So, but it's very sweet that you're saying that, because it's been very much a rough time for me. February probably being one of the worst times. Thank you so much, Tanmay. I appreciate you saying that. Both you and Kathy, I appreciate you saying that. But yeah, that's one of the reasons why I'm recording so much. So like, if you go on Instagram, I've got like 10 videos of me recording readings, and I've already done 3 on YouTube. I think this is number 4. So it's a lot of actually live reading. I prefer not to read live, but because there's so many different energies. But I'm trying to reach people, and I'm hoping people will see these. The thing about it is, this whole door thing and the portal and stuff, the thing about it is that it's hard to explain this. I think there's a part of everybody that wants to cross. We kind of all crave it in some way. And I think souls get to a certain level where they consciously make decisions, and then there's these unconscious things that are sort of underneath the surface. And I think those unconscious things that are underneath the surface really play a huge role in like what happens. So like, even Tanmay, like for example, Tanmay, if I was to get grounded, I could be really, really super grounded, and yet on a soul level feel like it's time to go, if that makes sense. Like, there are people like that just know when it's their time to go. Now, is it my time? Like, my friends are like, no, like, you can't. Like, you can't go. It's not your time. You've got so much more you got to do. And the funny thing is I don't feel like I have a lot more to do. I just feel called to do things right now, because there is things that I want to do. And so I'm functioning kind of in that space. It's going to be interesting to see how it turns out. I have friends that I wake up and I text them and I say, I'm still alive. You're stuck with me. Yeah. So I appreciate you guys, listening and hearing me on that. It is a very personal thing, for me, but like, on the one hand, it freaks me out, but on the other hand, I understand it completely. And I don't know why, but that's just how it is. I want to talk about what the last thing that I said for this path. It says, but in general, in life, when on this path, expect the unexpected and don't worry so much about how things will happen. The universe likes miracles and likes it when things happen when you least expect it. It's really funny. What is coming towards you, ASIM? Oh no. Sorry, I lost connection for a second. Can you guys hear me? Are you guys there? Okay, cool. Okay. ASIM, I'd have to lay out a spread, like a full spread to really get a full thing on that. The thing that popped into my head was actually love. And that's actually really, that was the first thing that kind of just popped into my head without even looking at any cards. And it's funny because I'm reading this Oak Path, and the Oak Path is all about love and relationships. It could be love, not just in romantic relationships, but it could also be love from other people. I consider things like there's a specific card and a specific position. I call it the door. What's coming in from the outside when I do a spread. And I look at that and I go, okay, is this negative or is this positive? And going back, okay, so ASIM, going back to what the thing that I wanted, let me just finish my thought here, guys. So the thing about energies, like when you ask me what's coming in, it can be positive or negative. Like you can have a good support system or not good support system. You could have loving energies come in or crappy energies come in. And it's funny because the reading I did the other day where I saw like, I think it was the arrow, one of the card about the arrows. I also saw kind of a crappy card, and it can be consistently a lot of negativity coming in through that space. It depends on root chakra energy. It also depends on literally like what the universe is throwing at you, and it depends on if something or someone is in the way. So it's a little bit more complicated than just, love is coming in for you or somebody who's loving that's coming in for you in general. Because I said that the love was coming in, I think it's a positive thing, and I would take that. That's what I want to say. If that makes sense. Is there, okay, so Downton Gabby asked, is there any way to get a reading not on the phone? I've done email readings before, and I'm open to doing an email reading if you'd like. That's a suggestion. It would be, I think, I don't know, 75 for an email reading. The way email readings, I usually function with my email readings is I have people send me, 6 questions up to 10. I guess you can ask me up to 10 questions, specific questions. Give me a little bit of background, your date of birth and things like that, and basically have you email me, copy and paste like a waiver which says that I'm not legally responsible because it's in writing. But that's my process for email reading. So if you want to do an email reading, you could send me a $75 payment through PayPal and I would do it. And it's usually completed within 1 to 2 days, depending on how much time. When I do an email reading, I take about 3 to 4 hours to complete the email reading. It's long. It's like 2 to 3 typed pages. And I spend a lot of time looking at the cards for it. I prefer to do live phone readings. Like you could do like a 30-minute phone reading. The funny thing is that people almost never only do 30 minutes. They usually do a lot more time than that with me. So that's why 30 to 45 minutes is actually, very few people actually only do 30 minutes with me. Mainly because they have more questions, or maybe just because a lot of stuff comes up in the readings. Kathy, all of my information is on my website, oracledaphne.com. All of that. I can't, because there's limited time here. I've already been reading for 29 minutes. This is one of those things where if you go on my website, oracledaphne.com, You can, my Cash App information is on there, but my email is elizabetholson31@gmail.com. But the way I book readings is people send a payment through PayPal. You can send it through Cash App, or you can send it through Venmo. All of that is on my website. So it's pretty easy on there. And then once you do that, then you'd reach out to me by email. My email's on there also, elizabetholson31@gmail, and you would say, yeah, I live in the UK and I want to do a reading. I'm free on Tuesday, or I'm free tonight. What times do you have? And we schedule. That's how I work. So it's very simple. Yep. But no, it's okay, Kathy. I appreciate you asking. That's no problem at all. Honestly, no problem at all. But it used to be, funny thing is, a long time ago, people used to email me like every day, and I would spend like 3 hours every day answering emails. How do I get a reading? And I had a website, and I try to simplify the process of getting the reading, because people would email me like 15 to 20 emails, and actually the people that would email me that much, I would not book. I was just like, I can't be responding to all these people, about how to get a reading. So it's funny that you're asking, because all that's on my website. There's only 3 pages to my website, and I think it's on page 2. But if you go to oracledaphne.com, it's all there. Everything's there. Okay, so where was I going? I want to pull some more cards, guys. Let's pull some cards and see what we've got here. Some of you, or one of you, has a strong connection to animals. I'm seeing that. We got the Divine Animals card coming up here. And also, those of you, maybe some of you are into crystals or gemstones. There's something about crystals and gemstones that's coming through. I'm currently obsessed with Etsy and all of like the crystals and stuff that are on there. So if you love gemstones and crystals, definitely check out Etsy, because there's just so much. Like eventually I want to have like kind of like on my table, I want to have like a crystal, like a lot of crystal towers. Some of you do need some healing. It could be distance healing, Reiki. I would have to add that back to my website. I don't think I have that on my website right now. You'd have to let me know if you wanted to do like a distance healing session. It would be specific. And I would work with crystals, and I would do, look at your energy and see what needed to be removed and stuff like that. I used to have like a tarot cord cutting combo. And I can do stuff like that. I just haven't done it in a long time, mainly because it's a lot of energy, and I haven't had the energy to do it. I've been like in healthcare for so long. But if those of you who want to do like a tarot cord cutting combo, please let me know. The way I would do it, like basically I would do like a healing. I would do like a regular normal reading, but specifically looking at the energy, and then do like a follow-up. So to do the actual like work, like healing work, distance healing work. Sometimes distance healing doesn't take take a lot of time. So it just depends on what needs to be done, things like that. There's something about being attached to someone, having a strong emotional connection to someone. This can also be, oh, hi, Evelyn. Thanks so much for stopping in. This can also be, yeah, like having a deep bond with someone. It's interesting. Like this whole reading to me feels like it's all about love and union and coming together with someone and strong feelings, having like an emotional connection, because we have the Two of Cups also. There is something about finances, maybe saving. We've got the Four of Pentacles here showing up from my Marseille deck. Four of Pentacles can be, just watching and counting, you know, what you have carefully, but also can indicate financial freedom and having like a bunch saved up and kind of like a nest egg. So it's really going to depend on the person and, you know, where they are with finances. From my Oracle deck, we've got, ooh. There is something here about sacred geometry. We've got the Hermit. Do you see all these, like, the Merkaba energy is like really strong behind him. You can see all the triangles behind him. I don't know. To me, the thing that's coming through about this Hermit card is that it seems like the struggles behind him. He's leaving behind the conflict. He's leaving behind the problems. He's leaving behind all of this stuff that maybe has caused him stress or worry or strife. He's actually leaving behind the, I would say, the cage, or like the control, or the yeah, like, to me this could be off-grid living, or like leaving behind some kind of structure that kind of held him back, or that held him in place. To me, he's outgrown, like he's sitting in a spot where he's outgrown that grid that's in the past. This is also, the words invoking Merkaba come to my mind, and invoking Merkaba allows us to really go wherever we want in spirit, while we're in our physical body. And so he's astral traveling. He's absolutely having like an experience where he's connected to spirit very, very strongly, and he's maybe doing shamanic journey. Maybe he's, you know, in a different, in spirit. That's where he is. The Sage, to me, is about writing. It's about journaling. It's about, you know, we've got the Sage and the Hermit. They're both kind of in this space of non-movement. Did you guys have other questions? I just want to make sure I'm, you know, sometimes my live gets, my chat gets hidden. Yeah, I'm seeing the Merkaba again. I'm seeing the Merkaba again. There is a strong connection to Egypt. Someone has a strong connection to Egypt. I definitely feel that vibe. Some of you may be into tattoos, or just have a lot of tattoos. I'm seeing something about tattoos here. I pulled a High Priestess, and she's got a whole bunch of tattoos, like on her arm and on her neck. Yeah, 10 minutes. Yeah, it's about outgrowing old patterns. That's what it is. The Hermit, to me, is, you know, the energy is about outgrowing the old patterns, letting go of the, in some way, of the old self, you know? That's interesting, Tanmay, that you say that about your bosses. I want to take a sip of my tea, and I want to pull some other cards. Losing a shell. I'm not sure what you mean, Tanmay. Excuse me. Oh, so, oh. Being in healthcare was very stressful. It was incredibly, not just depleting, but it turned me into a machine. It turned me into feeling like I wasn't myself any longer. I was no longer living for myself. I was living for my job. Can you hear me now? Is that better? Can you guys hear me? Okay. So the question Evelyn asked was being in healthcare depleting, and the answer is yes, but to me it was more stress. It was more, dealing with constant stress. And that it was that stress and being and feeling like I was the machine, and I was owned. I was owned, and I had to do what they said or else, constantly. And it was like the constant changing of, these are our expectations now. This is what you have to do. And if you don't do it, then you're going to get an email. Then you're going to get written up, and then you're going to get fired. And it's just like, living under that constantly is not a healthy place to be, because people have jobs for a living. They don't have jobs because they, have a free housing situation, um I mean, some people do, lucky, you know. I want to pull a few other cards here, and then I'm gonna pop over onto Instagram. I have spent a lot of time on these live readings, but I have to kind of spread out my talk about depleting energy. I have to spread out my energy. With my Shadowscapes deck, you guys did get the Ace of Pentacles, which I like to see. To me, that is the money card. That's the cash card. You guys have the Strength card right next to it, so that to me is being strong enough to get through whatever it is that you're doing. And I feel like this is wisdom about money too. To me, it's wisdom about money. Um, there's this bell. Oh, this is interesting. Okay, so in this card, this cat is holding on to this little bell. And okay, so did you guys ever see that movie Bell, Book and Candle? That it was an old movie with Jimmy Stewart. Anybody see that? I watched that movie, I don't know how many times. At the time that it was living in Chicago, I actually I had like an ear infection, or had been very sick, and the ear infection caused me to like not even be able to really function. So I just kept watching that movie over and over again. And the funny thing is that in the movie it has this cat, and um and I think it had like a bell or something around its neck. I don't know what it is about this bell. Generally, when I think of bells, I think of like an ending of an old cycle, like Tanmay, like you said, like it's an ending of an old cycle. But it also can indicate, because I'm thinking of that movie, can also indicate like having any kind of curses being broken, or like overcoming some darkness, or yeah, like some kind of finish, something's finished. Evelyn. Oh, hey, Toya. Yes, Toya, to get you kind of caught up, I think it was Evelyn that asked how I felt about working in healthcare. And I had said that it was very stressful. And, there's been a lot about production expectations. There's been a whole shift in focus about that, and how companies are really focused on that. And I think it's good in some ways, but I think it just turns people into machines. It dehumanizes everybody. Like it just does. And in the beginning, it wasn't like that. Pre-bug, it wasn't like that. Like in one place that I worked. But after, it just okay. Like so, to be clear about the way it felt to me, and I'll just explain to you the way it felt to me, especially my last one. The last one, it felt like this increasing, like ownership of and pressure of, this is what we're doing. Are you on board? Yes or no? And if the answer was no, then you're out. So it's like, if you don't do what we say, then you're out of the group. We're gonna push you out, kind of thing. That's the pressure. That's the pressure of healthcare. Even right now, I'm sure it's still continuing, of pressure right now in healthcare, where it's, if you don't do what we say, this is how, this is how it's going to be, is like, you either get an email or you go into a meeting, and this is like, you know, yeah, it's just everything is, it's a lack of respect, honestly. It's a lack of respect because, you know, people that show up in healthcare usually are there because maybe they went to school for it, or because they were called into it, or because, of some other reason. And there's a ridiculous amount of pressure that's being put on people right now that are already under stress, and the problem in the future most likely is going to be that you can't really recover from the kind of um, mental stress. I'm just going to say mental stress that is this being put on people. People are not going to want to go into it. It's disrespect, right? Yeah, exactly, Toya. It's disrespect. Yeah. People are not going to, you won't be able to force people into it any longer. And the people that are in it aren't going to want to be forced to like obey. Like, to me, it's like about obedience. All right. There's a lack of gratitude for their service. A lot of that. Yeah, for sure. People that are in healthcare, are trying to show up every day. Oh, Lindita, will I get pregnant soon? I love that question. Okay, Lindita asked, will I get pregnant soon? Okay, so this is where I would encourage you, because this is private, you know. This is a live reading on YouTube that I would really encourage you to book a private reading. Honestly, you can visit my website, oracledaphne.com, and then we can talk about it. But I will say, okay, Lindita, just so you know, that when it comes to pregnancy, there's a couple of things that hinder pregnancy. And I'm going to talk about those. One is that if your aura, your space in your aura is actually thin, or your partner's space in your aura is, your aura has to be open. You have to be open to it. Okay. And it's a certain thing, especially, women are like flowers. Okay. Women are like flowers. And there are certain things that prevent women from blossoming. Some of that is a lack of confidence. Some of that is a lack of love. Some of that is just timing. And some of that is resistance to outside energies in like a self-protection kind of mode. So if you feel very safe and very comfortable with a partner, your energy tends to open. It tends to become more open. If you're just, let's just say hypothetically, trying to just try, doesn't necessarily mean you're open. Doesn't mean you're necessarily connecting with your partner. So these are some of the things to think about when you're trying to get pregnant. And if you know of anybody who is trying to get pregnant, definitely you can have them reach out to me and we can talk about some of these factors, because these are factors that aren't really discussed in like normal circles, but it's important. Um, so yeah. I would definitely reach out to me, Lindita. I don't know if you're still there, but definitely reach out to me for a private reading, and I'm happy to talk to you about it. Some of you are very worried and concerned and maybe a little bit paranoid about the future. This is, to me, you got the paranoid card. Like, to me, this is like worst case scenarios. Fear. This is fear. This is being sometimes terrified of the future. We got the Nine of Swords also. To me, again, more fear. Okay, so I want to talk about the difference. Okay, so this person is really just, he knows how to overcome whatever it is that's blocking him, but he just is kind of like it's all in his head, you know? It's not actual like literal fears, literal things that are causing him to be afraid. Whereas the Ten of Swords a lot of times is paranoia, or there actually is something that there's like to me it's like more like a physical threat, not like of like, worst case physical threat kind of stuff, but more of like, being paranoid that there's not going to be enough food, being paranoid not going to be enough money for rent, being paranoid that, things aren't going to go right, being kind of swept up in negativity and getting maybe psychically attacked, or having, people that are just not loving and supportive, at this time. It's really crucial that, I honestly, I feel like when I wake up and I text a friend, I'm alive today, there's something that's very supportive about that. So everybody who's watching, wake up and text a friend, I'm alive today. Say that to someone. I think that your friends will appreciate it. And if they start doing that with you, then it'll make them feel like you're there for them, and vice versa and stuff. Okay, there was another comment here. Well, you working in healthcare, Evelyn, it's, it's hard not to be, because it's the pressure, and then it's like them constantly holding it over your head that you're not going to have a job. It's constant and consistent. It's like it never really stops. Like you go into work, you show up on time and you do the stuff, but then there's all these meetings and there's all this pressure from other people and all this stuff that's coming down from the higher ups, and it's like, she says, silly me says, I'm alive today. That's good. That's very good. That's awesome. I'm getting lost. I'm getting lost again. We gotta steer this ship back. Okay, I gotta steer the ship back. Some of you are making a decision to move on from someone who hurt you. This could be a relationship. Some of you, this is, realizing maybe, again, this could be in some cases quitting a job, or like deciding to quit before you get fired kind of thing. Like, because there's all this stress and because there's all this worry and fear, it can happen, where, I don't do well when I'm backed into a corner. That's what I don't do well. If somebody backs me into a corner, I usually end up leaving. I give them my 2 weeks notice. I say, okay, this is not going to work for me, and go. Because I'd rather take my experience and all that time I invested and put that on my resume than have it show up that I got fired later for something stupid. I don't do that. So I encourage you, like, if you feel like, that there's a chance that you will get fired, take a moment to think it through. And be proactive and say, okay, I'm going to leave before that happens. That's my best suggestion. Some of you may be texting an ex. I feel like there's this ex energy, or this person that you want to communicate with, or they want to communicate with you, and there's something about not wanting to. To me, this is a complicated kind of, I don't know, love triangle, or if it's just, energy where if you're interested in a person, let's just say, or you're texting an ex, most likely the ex has moved on. Okay, I'm just going to say that. I feel like the other person is talking or flirting or texting or sexting or having sex with somebody new. That's what I want to say. There's somebody else that they're interested in. And, okay, so this is what I'm also getting. I'm getting that maybe there was like was like someone here, or maybe someone that's watching later, that was involved with someone where there was love. Maybe you loved them more than they loved you, or maybe they loved you more than you loved them, or something like that. But there was also something else going on aside from that. So there might have been love, but there's also like this other person, like this other party where there was flirtation or sex or sexting or something or interest. Like, because this person, okay, so this two of, I've never seen this before. Okay, so this Two of Swords person is not looking at this heart. This Two of Swords person is looking at these like little, I don't know if you guys can see it. They're like these little fairies. This little gnome thing is interested in this like little Tinkerbell fairy. It's hard to see, but there's that interest. It's the thing that I'm getting is, okay, so like you may have loved someone, but they may have liked somebody else. Or, you know, they may love you, but maybe you've moved on to somebody else. You like somebody else. Or there's somebody else who's interested in you. I'm seeing that also. I'm seeing fall. I'm seeing the season fall. So some of you, like, the fall is going to be a significant time. I don't know what's going to happen there, but I feel like there's going to be some kind of offer. Could be like a marriage proposal in the fall. By this fall, there's going to be some kind of offer, some kind of proposal, some kind of something. Like if you've been in a place of like not hearing back from stuff or not communicating with stuff, and there's been like this stalemate, this like, you know, non-communication. I feel like there's going to be something that breaks through later in time, most likely in the fall. I'm getting the fall. I want to pull some other cards from my deck that I made. Take a little sip of tea here. And then I'm going to pop over onto Instagram. Yes, I said, Toya, I think you had asked me. I've been also reading live over on Instagram. I kind of have to cover my bases right now because nobody's seeing my stuff. And I can't afford with Google Ads to do it. So yeah. And for those of you who just popped in, anybody that donates $60 or more, I will read for whoever it is they want to refer for free. So it's like a buy one, get one. So if you donate $60, you can tag me over on Instagram, or you can message me in a comment and say, this is the person that I want to basically have this apply to. It's so interesting because there is this potential thing, this thing about potential. So the Two of Swords, going back to this energy about there being potential for a relationship. And then there's all this, Toya, yes, to answer your question, I do have Cash App. It's just like the $ and then Oracle Daphne. Let's see. Let me see if I can answer you. No. I don't know how to actually respond. This is terrible. I'm clicking the like chat, but it's not allowing me to respond. Look for my ding. Yes, like, okay, so Silly Me's asking me, donate a reading. Okay, so like basically if you send a donation, like you don't get a reading yourself. If you send a donation of $60 or more, then I will read for somebody that you identify that you want it, you know, them to have a free reading, and I will read for free for them. It'll be 30 minutes. But if it's $60 or more, then it's basically it's like you're gifting them that reading. I was talking about potential, I don't know. Yes. Okay. So going back, there's potential. There may be potential for a relationship, but then normally the Two of Swords indicates someone doesn't see the potential. A lot of times in relationships, people don't see things clearly. Um, they don't see how either it's working or it's not working or it's gonna work later in time. Because this thing about potential exists, it's tricky because I want to say, part of me wants to say, because there's confirmation about potential, that maybe a relationship isn't over. Maybe you think that it's over, but it's not right now. I mean, but it is right now, but it won't be later. That's what I'm trying to say. It's not really fully over. Like, to me, it's, for some of you, it's really going to depend. For some of you, there's this energy about, yes, the relationship is absolutely over. For some of you, absolutely over, and you shouldn't continue to text them or message them. But for some of you, there's this thing about potential. And we have the oak path. And so there's a potential to have a relationship with a person that you might not expect it to be with. Like, maybe you're thinking, okay, I got into a fight with someone and they ghosted me and the relationship's over. Either you're going to see them again, or you're going to hear from them again, or there's going to be something about it where you reconnect again, maybe on a deeper level, or later in time when you're at different places. I'm getting a tingle on that. So to me, it's like a later in time kind of thing where, maybe there's some maturity. Okay, going back to the oak path, there is maturity that needs to happen in order for that potential to be fulfilled. And the thing about life that I really don't like is that everybody has free will. So this is where I want to caution you, okay? Before you go and you get all like excited about having some kind of rekindling with someone from the past, okay? You have to keep living your life, number one. Number one, you got to keep dating, number two. Number three is that even if, let's just say, in the fall, say October, November comes around and you bump into a person, or you get hit up by someone, you get a text message, or someone messages you on Instagram or Facebook, whatever, and they're like, hey, how's it going? I haven't talked to you, I really miss you, blah blah blah. They still have free will. It doesn't necessarily mean it's going to work out. It just means that at some point in time, there's potential for a reconnection, which could lead to a deeper connection or a rekindling of a relationship. If that makes sense. Does that make sense to you guys? Okay. When I talk about donations, you're donating to me and my business. You're donating to the fact that I don't have a way to record right now. You're donating to my rent and any business that I get, that I can, this is say you were donate $60 where you don't get a reading, but I read for somebody else. It kind of comes out, everybody wins. It creates a win-win because somebody gets a reading, and I make, I'm able to, get things done and continue doing these videos and continue running this business. I'd rather do readings for people and have my business than work for somebody else. Absolutely, 100%, I would. The problem with the way it went in 2017 is it went down how it was going to go down as far as YouTube changing its algorithm, as far as me losing clients because people weren't seeing my videos, as far as me moving to Omaha and going through that relationship and having that loss. It was all like the way it was going to go down was the way it was going to go down. But if I had to choose, doing readings over being enslaved and tied to a computer and thinking about my production score, I choose doing readings, So when I ask for donations, I'm asking for people to support my business, to support the fact that I want to do this, that I'd rather do this than something else. And this is, it is a calling, regardless whether I'm living or not. It's a calling, it's what I enjoy readings. I enjoy talking to people. I enjoy, figuring things out, So I don't know. I hope that makes sense too. I think this is kind of where I want to leave this. I'm gonna jump over onto Instagram. Thank you guys so much for liking, sharing, subscribing, and all that stuff. I send everybody big hugs, big kisses. And I will talk to you guys again soon, okay? Wish you guys all the best. And yeah, just let me know. Like, for those of you who wanted to do like a reading, definitely check out my website, oracledaphne.com. So talk to you soon, guys. Have a good day. All the best. Bye.